السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن سيدنا وسندنا وحبيبنا وطبيبنا وكريمنا ورؤوفنا ورحيمنا مولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والنازعات غرقا والناشطات نشطا والسابحات سبحا فالسابقات سبقا فالمدبرات أمرا يوم ترجف الراجفة تتبعها الرادفة قلوب يومئذ واجفة أبصارها خاشعة يقولون أئنا لمردودون في الحافرة أئذا كنا عظاما نخرة قالوا تلك إذا كرة خاسرة فإنما هي زجرة واحدة فإذا هم بالساهرة. صدق الله العظيم. मिलकर नबी अलैहिस्सलाम की बारिक में दुरूद व सलाम अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि व सल्लिम व बारिक अला सय्यिदिना मौलाना मुहम्मद व अला आलि सय्यिदिना मौलाना मुहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम मअल वजूद व करम व आलिहि व सहबिहि व बारिक व सल्लिम. We are starting the next surah, Surah An-Nazi'at. Bismillah. Surah An-Nazi'at. In order of revelation, it is the 79th surah. And in terms of the recitation, it's surah number 81 in the Quran Abad. Of course, we are doing the last juz'u only. And Surah Nazi'at, I believe there is a continuation from the previous surah. Every surah in the Quran links with the next one. The last words that we recited from last week, i.e. Surah An-Naba, last ayah we recited was when Allah Rabbul Alameen warned the mushrikeen and the kafirin, those are rejected Qiyamah, that inna anzarnakum adhaban qariba. We warn you of an intense warning. Inna anzarnakum adhaban qariba. Yawma yanzurun, on that day every man will see what he has done, what he has sent forth for to his Lord. وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ, and the kafir will say here, يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا. So that somehow that I wish I was never alive, that I remained dust. I never existed. This is what the kafir will say on the day of judgment when he wakes up. And remember, for the kafir, we mentioned, his adhab starts from the moment he sees Malakul Maut. The adhab starts there. And he knows the moment he sees Malakul Maut, it's either success or it's a complete failure. If Malakul Maut comes in the good form, then it means a good grave. It means good death, good grave, good barzakh, good akhirah, khair upon khair. If you see Malakul Maut in his evil form, in the form that when he takes the life of the sinners and the kuffar, the mushrikeen, then you know, evil death, a painful grave, a painful barzakh, and a painful akhirah as well. And after that is Jahannam. You're completely doomed for good, forever. So when this happens, the kafir says, Ya laytani kuntu turaba. I wish I was never alive, that I never had to experience any of this. Let's move into the next surah. Allah Rabbul Alameen now describes the different traits of the malaika. And I don't want to go into a discussion of aqidah. What are malaika? What are they doing? We all know the made of nur. We all know that there are four of the Ulul Azam Anbiya, the four Ulul Azam Malaika, the major four angels. Angel Jibreel, you have Israel, Israfil and Mikael. These are called Rusulul Malaika. You must understand the difference. One is just Malaika, one are Rusulul Malaika. They're the top four of the angels. And you know, when we commonly use this term and we say humans are better than angels, and it's correct to some extent, because angels have no power. Angels don't have willpower. Angels do not have the freedom to do sin. They're programmed to do good only. Whereas insan has a free will to do good and do bad. So when you do good, at that very moment you are better than a general malaika. From the angels, the general angel, you're better than them. But you can never consider yourself to be better than the Rusulul Malaika. From the top four Malaika. The only people that are better than those top four Malaika are the Ulul Azam Anbiya. So from humans we have, then above us, so better than the general master, you have the awliya Allah. Then you have Siddiqeen. Then you have the Ashab. Those are our companions of prophets. Then you have Anbiya. From Anbiya you have the Ulul Azam, 5 Anbiya. The top 5 Nabis. And then from them you have Imamul Anbiya, that is our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That is our Nabi. In the angels you have the same categories. You have those that do the general routine works of creation. And then you have the Ulul Azam Malaika, the Rusulul Malaika. They're right at the top. This surah describes, the first 5 ayat describe the roles of some of the general angels and what they should be doing. So let's read. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا. And I'm going to use assistance of the screen for the translation they're using. By oath of those angels who harshly extract the souls. وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا. ये वो फरिश्ते हैं जो गरक होकर रूह को कब्ज़ करते हैं. One of the traits of the angels that take the soul, yes, we know it's Israel who takes the soul, who is Malakul Maut. One of his traits Allah Rabbul Alameen describes when he takes a soul, he has to dive deep. Because the word gharq in Arabic means when you dive into something. हम उर्दू में भी ये लफ्ज़ इस्तेमाल करते हैं कि भी फलां शख्स पानी में गर्क हो गया. ठीक है, पानी में गर्क होना means that you basically in water, you drowned in water. So Allah Rabbul Alameen is saying that one type of malaika, farishte, that they dive deep down to grab the souls and take them out of your body. That's one type. And I'll come to the tafsir of it. You'll enjoy the tafsir. Then you have وَالنَّاشِطَاتِ نَشْطًا. Then you have those who unite not. It's like easily take out souls the way you open a knot very easily. That detaching the soul from the body is like just unlocking something. That's how easy their role is. And they take the soul away. That's another type. وَالسَّابِحَاتِ سَبْحًا. And then you have those that float in the heavens and the earth. They're roaming everywhere. Going all over the place. There are no barriers. There are no limits. They can go from this dunya into another dunya. They can be moving between the heavens for whenever they want. They can be between the earth and the skies whenever they want. They are made to roam. These are فَالسَّابِحَاتِ سَبْحًا. Then you have فَالسَّابِقَاتِ سَبْقًا. Then you have those who race towards reaching quickly. I.e., whenever somebody does something good, they race each other to collect the deeds. ताकि मैं वो नेकी लेकर अल्लाह की बारगाह में जाऊं कि फलां शख्स ने फलां नेकी की. अनफल मुदब्बिराति अमरा. And then you have those type of malaika who are taking account of all the running affairs of this universe. ये कि सूरज का निकलना, चांद का निकलना, दिन रात का होना, and how the winds are blowing, and how all the matters of this dunya are taking place. They are mudabbirat, amra. They are those angels who have been given specific instructions for the running of the universe. These are the types of malaika, angels Allah Rabbul Alameen has described. So let's go through the first one. وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا. Those angels that have to dive deep. Why are they diving deep? Allahu Akbar. And here there's lots of tarbiyah to be taken from these two ayahs, for myself and yourself. Allah Rabbul Alameen is saying, ये वो फरिश्ते हैं जो गहरा पहुंचकर रूह को निकालते हैं. By this it means this is the soul of the sinners and the souls of the kuffar. जो गुनाहगार हैं, जो काफिर हैं, they do not want to experience death. When it comes to death, that time of death, their soul runs away or goes so deep into the earth, trying to avoid, trying to escape Malakul Maut. So Malakul Maut, وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا, he has to dive along with the soul to grab the soul and take it out of the body. Kyun? Because the soul doesn't want to leave. Ruh jani nahi chahti. Kyun? Because he knows what's coming. The soul knows that I'm going to be beaten. The azab is starting. He's seen Malakul Maut. And how did we say we started this verse? The moment you see Malakul Maut, you know either it's yes or it's a no. So the moment he's seen Malakul Maut in that difficult and that frightening figure that he brings on, the soul runs in the opposite direction. Or the analogy given is it sinks itself so deep that the angel of death then has to chase him down and then take him out. Well, then the soul doesn't want to go. What's the soul got to lose? It's got everything to lose. Because the soul has now realized that everything I had done was completely wrong. पूरी जिंदगी जो मैंने गुनाहों में गुजार दी है, आज पकड़ आ गई. Now they've been caught. Now there's no escape. Now when you know there's no escape, he first tries to run. And then Malakul Maut grabs you, brings you out again. And then takes you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then on the other hand, وَالنَّاشِطَاتِ نَشْطًا. Then you have the soul of the Salihin and the pious ones. For them, removing their soul from the body is like unlocking something so easy, untying something. कोई ऐसा हल्का सा पेच लगा हो, थोड़ा सा हाथ लगाए तो खुल गया. Slice more ribbon, like you have when you get a gift and you have a ribbon and you easily open the ribbon, don't you? And the gift opens. وَالنَّاشِطَاتِ نَشْطًا. You're separating his soul is like opening a ribbon. Ye gay soul. And the soul's gone. That's how easy it is. Now, the question really is, how do I want my soul to go? मैं और आपने क्या फैसला किया है जिंदगी में कि जब मलकुल मौत आए, in what fashion do we want Malakul Maut to take our soul? The example given in the hadith is that for a sinner, it's like you have a branch of thorns and you fill it with cotton. And then when you try to remove the cotton from those thorns, what happens? That cotton is ripped apart, isn't it? It's not possible for you to remove that cotton without ripping it away. Ulama describe, the hadith describes, when the soul of a sinner is taken away, it's like you taking that cotton away from that branch of thorns. Basically, your soul is ripped apart. ऐसे रूह को नोच को निकाल दिया जाता है. It's ripped apart. Another description given, ulama described, awliya Allah described from the mushahadat when they've seen people experiencing death. It's like बुरी रूह जब निकलती है, गुनाहगार की रूह, तो यूं महसूस होता है जैसे 1000 मर्तबा उसे किसी तलवार की वार के साथ लगा दिया जाए, मार दिया जाए. It's like being struck by a sword more than 1,000 times. And that wound is being struck again and again and again and again and again. Kya hai ji? This is the soul of a sinner. ये गुनाहगार की ये रूह है. लिहाजा इसका अज़ाब उसी लम्हा से शुरू होता है. His azab begins at that very moment. And when Allahu Akbar, I read here, and in contrary, when the soul of a believer is taken, and this upon here, as the Barra bin Adib radiallahu anhu described, he says, when it comes to the time of death for a mu'min, for a believer, for an individual who spent his life in piety and doing noble deeds, hadith mein aata hai ki us waqt the angels come to you shining so bright as if two stars have come down and revealed upon you. जैसे कि जो दो सूरज इस तरह उतर आए हैं जमीन पर और आकर फिर वो बैठा देते हैं इंसान को. Then they make you sit down. Sit up, oh man, sit up. क्या है जी? या अय्युहन नफ्सुल मुतमइन्ना, ऐ मुतमइन नफ्स, इरजि'i इला रब्बिक. चलो चलिए, let's go. या रब्बिक रादियतन मर्दिया, तू भी राजी, अल्लाह भी तुझसे राजी. फदखुली फी बाल, चलो जी नेक लोगों में दाखिल हो जाओ. वदखुली जन्नती, अल्लाह कह रहा है कि मेरी जन्नत में आ जाओ. That's how well you're being welcomed and you're being treated. And the angel comes down, sits you down, and then he gives you the glad tidings of Jannatul Firdaus. Then the angel, Allahu Akbar, एक तो कफन हम देते हैं जिस्म जो मय्यत को, and we shroud the body in the two white cloths, and if it's a woman then 5 pieces of cloth are used. Hadith says that at that moment when the angel welcomes you and sits you up and then says marhaba, let's go to paradise, then they also bring a shroud from paradise for you. फिर एक जन्नती कफन भी लाया जाता है. That jannati kafan comes, hadith describes, it smells better than kusturi, and that is given around you, and now you're made to lay down, and your soul is then taken in that manner where you feel nothing. Pata bhi nahi chalta wo soul chali gayi, and your soul's gone. On the contrary, when it's the time of death for a kafir, as Barra bin Adib says, the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam describing this, and this is from the authority of Muslim Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal iske riwayat karte hain apni kitab mein. When it comes to the time of death for a kafir, the angels come in a dark figure. Siyah unka chehra hota hai, dark figures. And for as far as his eye can see, the only thing he can see are these two dark figures that have come over him. दो ऐसे बड़े ऐसे फरिश्ते आगे हैं, काले सियाह. Then Malakul Maut says to him, "Oh khabith soul, oh khabith soul, get up!" Shouts at you, will frighten you, scare you, make you to sit up. And then they will push you against the wall like this. और फिर फरमाया कि उस वक्त फिर फरिश्ता चीख मारता है, और उस चीख निकालने की वजह से उसके रूह फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता फिर निकलती है. Slowly, then his soul starts to come out. And then when his soul is starting to come out, फिर उसकी रूह में से मुर्दार की बदबू निकलती है. He smells of a body that has been left to rot, has not been buried away. That's why his soul starts to give off this bad odor. And then he's made to lay down and then left like that, in that manner. After this, what happens? There's great detail ulama go into in hadith as well. Milti hai tafseer. Okay, the soul then hovers over the body. अब यहाँ मैयत है, मैयत को फिर अब नहलाया जाता है, कफन दिया जाता है, नमाज जनाजा अदा की जाएगी, कब्रिस्तान ले जाएंगे, and then at the कब्रिस्तान, then you will be laid down into the grave, and then the soul is put over you. In all of this duration, it could be a day, 2 days, 3 days, the soul is hovering over the body, and there's a direct in relation between the soul and the body. दोनों का बड़ा जबरदस्त रब्त रहता है. इसीलिए हमें कहा गया है कि जब मैयत को नहलाया जाए तो ज्यादा गर्म पानी ना इस्तेमाल किया जाए. Don't make sure it's not too hot, neither too cold. Don't rock the body too much. make it as easy as possible because he feels every pain. Why does he feel any pain? Every pain? Imagine somebody who has a surgery. Would you knock him around or push him around in that way? The obvious answer is no, because his body is bruised. Here the souls come out. The entire body is bruised. Don't rock the body. Make it easy for the body. Take him into the grave. And then as soon as he's in the grave, the ruh inside also enters the grave. Once you go, when the public leaves, Sami aqara ni'alihi, hadith says, the soul is hearing the footsteps of the very last person who leaves the graveyard. Because as soon as he steps out, the angels of the grave come in. जो ही ये निकले, फरिश्ते अब हाजिर होते हैं. And then they start the questioning. And the questioning is not with this body, with these lips, and these ears, and these eyes. It's the soul that answers. The punishment in the grave, if there is to be, God forbid, is on the soul, it's not on the body. नेक शख्स की रूह का क्या होता है? उसकी रूह को अल्लाह ताला की बारगाह में ले जाया जाता है. Hadith describes that the doors of the skies are open, and your soul leaves this dunya and is taken to paradise. And then your soul travels through paradise. Pehli Jannat, Dusri, Tisri, Chauthi, Panchvi, Chhatri, Satvi, through all 6 heavens. And as it's traveling, the angels see you and say, Salam hai is nek ruh par. Salam, they salute you. Why? Because a blessed soul is traveling through the heavens. And that soul is then made to do sajda directly in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. फिर वो नेक रूह अल्लाह की बारगाह में जाकर खुद हाजिर होकर सजदा करती है. Then it's returned back and then sent to barzakh, ja barzakh mein. Now from the barzakh, your body has a direct connection. And these are all subjects in hadith in great detail which I am describing. I'm summarizing because I want to move on with the tafseer. But when your soul is in the barzakh, नेक इंसान की जब रूह barzakh में पहुंचती है, your soul has a direct connection with the body. So when somebody comes to visit you in your grave, your soul is aware that somebody has visited my grave. मेरा फलां रिश्तेदार, मेरा बेटा, मेरी बेटी, मेरी बीवी या मेरा शोहर आया है ज़ियारत करने के लिए. Your soul is made aware of it in the barzakh. Many times, and I've experienced this myself, that I visited my great grandma's grave. हमारी जो परदादी हैं अली रहमा, जो हकीकी मानों में एक वली अल्लाह थी. My father's grandmother, Allahu Akbar. ये उनका तो वो मशहूर वाक़या कि when she passed away, my grandfather, if you know him, Shaykh al-Hadith Mawlana Muhammad Ali rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, वो वहाँ मौजूद थे. और my जो परदादी थी, हम उन्हें माँ दादी कहते थे. She at that time, just before she passed away, is telling her son Muhammad Ali, if you look around the corner, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is coming. और Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman Ali, वो भी नाल आ रहे हैं. These pious people, when they pass away, this is the type of death they have. I was mentioning, so just this one evening I remember I went to a grave और मैंने कुछ पैसे भी लेकर गया और वहाँ सफाई भी करवाई और फूल पत्तियाँ वहाँ रखवाई. The very evening I saw him in my dreams. उसी रात को ख्वाब में ज़ियारत हुआ. So I mentioned this to my parents, to my father, and he said that's exactly the point the hadith makes. When a loved one visits the grave, the loved ones in barzakh are made aware. They do become aware. Or I've never seen my great grandmother, but to see her in my dream was for me the direct sign that their souls are alive. They are witnessing what's happening on this dunya, and they do respond to this as well. They respond, and they have the direct connection. On the contrary, agar gunahgar ho ya kafir ho, when his soul is taken, it feels all the pains. In the grave, the questioning in the grave is a complete, very long subject I'm not going to touch. But what happens is after that, his soul does not leave this dunya. See, when it was a pious soul, the doors of the heavens were open and it traveled, didn't it? When it's a kafir or a great sinner, the doors are closed. And the soul tries to escape this dunya, it can't escape. Because darwaze band hai, it can't escape this dunya. Then it's made back, brought back, put into the grave, और फिर कब्र में फिर उसका azab वहीं से शुरू हो जाता है. And the azab in the grave starts there and then. Because it's got nowhere to go. So it comes back into the grave, punishment starts there. So وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا. हमने किस तरह की मौत चुकी? Every time you commit a sin, every time you do something wrong, every time I or you, we are in breach of the Sharia, then you are afflicting upon yourself a painful death. You're moving towards that. I mentioned this in one of the previous durus as well. When you do good deeds, you're empowering your soul with the right nutrition and you strengthen the soul. And when you do bad deeds, you're weakening the soul. You're giving it the bad nutrition and it's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. So weak that at the time of death, there's a possibility you will lose your iman. But if you don't lose your iman, you're lucky enough, you'll still be وَالنَّازِعَاتِ غَرْقًا. The angel will chase you wherever your soul goes and grab that soul and take it out of your body. Is tarah you. Allah Rabbul Alameen protected from such a painful death. Allah Ta'ala har insan ko, dekhiye hum kitne hi janaze hum padhte hain. We don't know the affair. So many janazas I've led in the previous few years I've been at Victoria Park Masjid. कोई पता नहीं कि इसको आखिर में ईमान नसीब हुआ भी है कि नहीं. We maybe in the hundreds have read Salatul Janaza. बाद में फातिहा भी पढ़े हैं, खत्म कुल भी हुए हैं, चहलम भी हुए हैं, बरसियां हर साल हो रही हैं. नहीं मालूम कि ईमान सलामत रहा कि नहीं रहा. Allah. These are all affairs of the unseen. और इसी वजह से बुरे खातिमा से हमेशा हिफाजत की दुआ करनी चाहिए. Should always make dua that Allah Rabbul Alameen protect everyone from the pains of death and from losing your iman at the time of death. Which I mentioned earlier, where shaitan comes in the form of your loved ones. And he will tell you, become a Jew, become a Christian. And if you accept at that moment, and the very second moment Malakul Maut will come, you either lost your iman or you've done the right things all in your entire life and you've kept that iman strong.